Beneath the shadow of Imperial Japan's wartime expansion, another battle unfolded, not on the front lines, but in the heart of its cities. In Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and beyond, shops that once served as bustling hubs of commerce became the epicenter of survival, resistance, and loss. Here, ration cards replaced receipts, censorship stifled voices, and the black market flourished in the cracks of a crumbling empire. As the war stretched into its darkest years, Japanese families faced not just air raids, but the painful erosion of their daily lives and beloved traditions. This untold story of World War II civilian life reveals how the war transformed Japan's retail culture. From the forbidden kimonos of Kyoto to the last cups of tea brewed with roasted acorns in the streets of Osaka. Through survivor testimonies, forgotten diary entries, and remnants of a vanishing world, we uncover the human cost of war, not through battles, but through the everyday shops, markets, and stalls that once defined Japan's soul. World War II didn't just redraw borders, it rewrote survival itself. In 1937, as Japan plunged deeper into militarism with the passing of the National Mobilization Law, civilian life began to erode quietly but swiftly. Shops became instruments of war, no longer serving the needs of citizens, but repurposed for military production. Kimono shops were converted to supply parachute silk. Sake breweries became makeshift fuel production centers. In the heart of downtown Tokyo, Taro Nakamura, a third-generation tobacconist, watched as his family's once thriving corner shop fell into ruin. The shop, filled with the scent of roasted tobacco, became eerily quiet as wartime policies prohibited him from selling to anyone other than military personnel. By 1939, his sales had plummeted by 90%. In a hidden ledger found decades later beneath rotting floorboards, Taro wrote, "We became ghosts in our own shops, silent, fading, watching our shelves gather dust as the city marched to someone else's drum." Taro's story is a reflection of thousands of small businesses sacrificed for imperial ambitions, caught in the suffocating grip of wartime policies that left survival feeling like a surrender. By 1941, as Japan's imperial ambitions escalated, daily life grew even more unbearable for civilians. Rice rations plummeted to a meager 290 grams per adult, down from 400 grams before the war. In their place, the government promoted substitutes, bread laced with sawdust, powdered whalebone, and propaganda that turned hunger into patriotism. In Kyoto, Yuki Sato, a widow and mother, struggled to keep her family's tea shop alive. By 1941, military requisitions had stripped the shelves bare of even tea leaves. Every morning, she would brew matcha from roasted barley and ground acorns, offering her customers a taste of better days. In a note hidden beneath a floorboard, she wrote, "The soldiers took our tea leaves. We drank lies to remember tradition." Yuki's story was one of quiet resistance, an effort to preserve dignity in a time of loss and hardship, a testament to the strength of the human spirit even when tradition seemed lost. By 1942, the official supply chains had completely unraveled. With government rationing failing to meet even basic needs, millions turned to the black market for survival. The underground economy flourished, and entire neighborhoods became hubs for barter and smuggling. Kenji Mori, once a respected accountant in Yokohama, lost everything when his firm was nationalized. With a pregnant wife and a diabetic mother, he opened a secret noodle stall in a back alley, using stolen military flour and smuggled eggs. For a bowl of noodles, people traded candles, firewood, or hand-sewn buttons. In 1944, Kenji was arrested and vanished, but his legacy lived on, not as a criminal, but as a wartime provider. One customer wrote, "This kept my son alive today." In 1943, Japan entered the darkest years of wartime surveillance. The Toko, Special Hire Police, intensified their monitoring of civilians, shops, and even school children. Neighbors were encouraged to spy on each other, with even the slightest dissent punished severely. Haruki Watanabe, a calligrapher and poet in Hiroshima, ran a stationery shop. As ink supplies dwindled, he used crushed charcoal and rainwater to make makeshift ink for students. But in his shop's backroom, he secretly wrote poems mourning the country's soul. One of his final poems read, "A kite with no string soars above a burning field, but no one looks up." Haruki's story ended in 1943 when he was taken by the Toko for penning anti-war haikus. His shop was bricked up, but years later, survivors found his poems hidden in a drawer, preserved by the ink of defiance. As the Allies ramped up bombing raids, entire cities were obliterated. Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, once vibrant urban centers, became scorched landscapes. The firebombing of Tokyo in 1945 would destroy over 1 million homes and shops, forever altering the fabric of civilian life. In 1944, 11-year-old Aiko Tanaka lived above her family's futon shop in Osaka. One night, the sky turned into a second sun. As her family fled, their shop, their home, and everything they knew were consumed by the flames. Aiko's mother gave her a whistle to blow in case they got separated. They never found her again. Years later, Aiko wrote in a survivor's memoir, "The war was not a field with guns. It was a street where we ran from fire and prayed not to be forgotten." In 1952, Japan regained sovereignty through the San Francisco Peace Treaty, but its soul remained shattered. Amid economic reforms, the country transitioned from war-torn rubble to the post-war miracle, rebuilding industries, but at the cost of its traditional small businesses. In Osaka, Hanako Yamamoto watched as her family's textile shop was bulldozed to make way for a parking lot. The store had survived war, fire, and famine, but peace was its undoing. In an emotional interview years later, Hanako reflected, "They called it rebirth. They brought us chrome shelves and canned coffee, but what we lost was not just wood and cloth. It was memory, tradition, the sound of my grandfather sweeping the tatami." World War II didn't just reshape Japan's borders, it redefined the very fabric of its civilian life. As cities burned, shops were repurposed for war, and ration cards replaced receipts. The pulse of daily life slowed to a haunting rhythm of scarcity. From Kyoto's tea shops to Tokyo's black markets, the Japanese people fought not just to survive, but to preserve what little they could of their culture and traditions. These untold stories remind us that the true battle was fought not on the front lines, but in the streets, homes, and small shops, where survival meant more than simply existing. It meant holding on to a heritage and identity that would otherwise be lost forever. As we look back on this dark chapter of Japan's history, we honor the resilience of its people who lived through it. Their stories of hardship, resistance, and perseverance are not only a testament to their strength, but also a poignant reminder of how history can be rewritten in the most unexpected places. If this emotional journey through World War II civilian life in Japan moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to the Time Navigator for more historical documentaries and forgotten stories of World War II. Stay connected as we explore World War II history, the impact of World War II on Japanese culture, and the transformation of Japan's civilian life during wartime. What do you think? Join the conversation and leave a comment below about how World War II rationing and the black market economy affected Japan's home front. Share your thoughts on how Japanese shopkeepers adapted during this tumultuous period, and let us know which historical events you'd like us to explore next. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll delve deeper into the post-war economic recovery in Japan and the rise of convenience stores like 7-Eleven, born from wartime scarcity. Thanks for watching and exploring the untold histories with us.